Ratchet is the name of several characters in the Transformers franchise. According to the original creator of the Transformers names, Bob Budiansky, Ratchet was named after the character of Nurse Ratched from the film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The name Ratchet is almost always portrayed as an Autobot medic who turns into an ambulance. Ratchet is sometimes referred to by the trademarked names Autobot Ratchet, or Rescue Ratchet. Transformers, Generation 1, Ratchet is the chief medic of the Autobots in the Transformers television and comic series based on the popular toy line produced by Takara and Hasbro. His vehicle mode is an ambulance. Named after Nurse Ratched by writer Bob Budiansky, who originally intended the character to be female, an idea rejected by Hasbro. Ratchet is well remembered by fans of the original comic series, in which he played a major role. Ratchet would transform into an ambulance and was colored white with red stripes and emergency lights. Ratchet had two robot modes, though only one was usually seen in the comic run and the television cartoon. The Ratchet toy transformed into the second form. Ratchet was one of the original and the longest-lived of all Transformers in the Marvel Transformers comics series. Often a fan favorite, he was a healer first, but a soldier nonetheless. His courage and loyalty are demonstrated time and again. Marvel Comics, Ratchet made his first appearance in issue number 1 of the Marvel Comics Transformers comic book series. Originally this was intended to be a 4-issue series, but became a monthly series that ultimately lasted 80 issues. Although there was no Ratchet toy for Generation 2, Ratchet did make several appearances in the Memories of Optimus Prime in the Generation 2 comic book series by Marvel Comics. Despite being dead, he would make 2 flashback appearances, one in his fused form with Megatron, and the other showing him protecting 2 humans, likely Buster Witwicky and his girlfriend Jessie. Animated series, Ratchet was the Autobot medic, and therefore he seldom was ever seen in battle. He usually spent time at the Autobot base with Wheeljack creating and repairing other Autobots. The two of them were credited for creating the Dinobots in an attempt to bolster their ranks versus the Decepticons. Ratchet was eventually killed in the Transformers, the movie in an attack by the Decepticons on an Autobot shuttle. The Decepticons penetrated the hull of the shuttle that Ironhide, Prowl, and Brawn were flying in. Ironhide and Ratchet attacked the invaders together after Prowl and Brawn's death. The two suffered the same amount of fire from the Decepticons. Due to Ironhide's strong armor, he survived the first strike but ultimately died. Ratchet, on the other hand, was killed easily. Luckily, his role as medic is taken by Junkion leader Wreck-Gar, who formed an alliance with the Autobots, and first aided the Protectobots. Books. Ratchet was featured in the 1985 Transformers audiobooks Autobots Lightning Strike, Autobots Fight Back, Laserbeak's Fury and Satellite of Doom. Ratchet appeared in the 1985 story Autobots Fight Back by John Grant, published by Ladybird Books. Dreamwave Productions, Ratchet appeared in much the same capacity as he did in the TV series, acting as the Autobots' chief medic. Joining the Autobot faction at the outbreak of the Civil War, Ratchet accompanied Optimus Prime to search for survivors in part of Iacon City after Megatron had activated the planetary engines. He later remained with the Autobots under Prowl after Optimus Prime's disappearance in a space bridge accident. Devil's Due Publishing. In this reimagining of the Generation 1 story, the Ark was discovered by the terrorist Cobra organization, and all the Transformers inside were reformatted into Cobra vehicles remotely controlled by the Televipers. In this storyline Ratchet turned into a Cobra his tank. In the second series, he appeared as the Autobot, the sole Autobot guardian of a future Earth overrun by Decepticons. This Ratchet had been changed by his experiences, ruthlessly gunning down several Decepticons and even destroying one in hand-to-hand combat. He is located by a team of G.I. Joes trying to repair the damage done by the time-displaced Transformers. They forcibly teleported him back to Cybertron, where he was promptly gunned down by Shockwave. This Ratchet had reverted to his traditional ambulance-themed body. He evidently survived, as he appeared again in the third series as part of the combined Autobot G.I. Joe force attempting to rescue Optimus Prime. Fun Publications. Ratchet also appeared as a remold of Energon Towline for the Transformers Timeline series. His function is Chief Medical Officer and his motto is "You break it, I'll remake it." The Transformers Classics comics published in the official Transformers Collectors Club magazine are set in the Marvel Comics continuity, but in a timeline where the events of Generation 2 did not occur. Ratchet's seemingly lifeless body appears behind Megatron's throne. Ratchet oversaw the repair of Dion after he was injured battling the Combaticons. IDW Publishing. Ratchet plays a significant role in IDW's new G1 continuity. His updated form is an ambulance that bears a close resemblance to a Ford Transit van. In the Transformers Infiltration, he picks up 3 humans who have evidence of their presence on Earth, protecting them from Thundercracker and the Battler Chargers. He clashes with Prowl over the issue of the humans and calling in Optimus Prime. Disobeying orders alongside Bumblebee, he is wounded in battle with Skywarp and Blitzwing, but recovers before the end of the limited series. He reappears in the subsequent series The Transformers Escalation, discovering that the corpse of Sunstreaker was in fact a fake. He disobeyed orders once again to let Verity and Jimmy find the location of the decoy's manufacturer, but was interrupted by Ironhide. However, instead of stopping them, Ironhide accompanied them to find the garage that had made the fake Sunstreaker. However, when the 2 humans failed to reappear, Ironhide went in personally, while Ratchet warned him of approaching police. With Verity and Jimmy out cold, Ratchet assisted in cutting open the ceiling of hidden room they were in. While they saved the humans, Ironhide was too slow in getting out, and was destroyed by the blast. Ratchet appeared in the New Avengers Transformers crossover by Marvel Comics and IDW Publishing in 2007. Optimus Prime leads Bumblebee, Drift, Cup, Prowl, Ratchet and Wheeljack in Las Vegas when a Cybertronian ship crashes containing Galvatron, Cyclonus, Scourge and an infestation of zombies from another universe. Galvatron attempts to take command of the Autobots, and after fighting them explains his mission to stop an undead infestation. Wheeljack sets up an energy shield around the city to keep the infestation contained, but it will only last for 24 hours. Cup recognizes a Decepticon named Bayonet in Galvatron's command as not being right, and she is revealed to be the extra-dimensional vampire Bright. Evolutions, Hearts of Steel, an alternate version of Ratchet would appear in IDW's Hearts of Steel. Here he seems to be willing to follow Prowl's lead in not contacting the humans, however, when Starscream's plan is discovered, Ratchet followed Bumblebee's lead in following the Decepticon train convoy, and was present at their defeat. Following this, he and the other Autobots went back into stasis. Other media. Ratchet appears in the Robot Chicken episode Junk in the Trunk voiced by Seth MacFarlane. In the segment he's in, he tells Optimus that he has prostate cancer and that he will die. It turns out that it was just a segment acted out by the Autobots. Toys. Generation 1 Autobot car Ratchet. The toy that was to become the Autobot Ratchet was originally released as part of the Japanese Diaclone series. The toy of Ironhide has the same mold as Ratchet. Timelines Deluxe Ratchet, a remold of Energon Towline. Packaged together with Flare Up. Universe Generation 1 Series Deluxe Autobot Ratchet, a white redeco of Universe Deluxe Ironhide with a different head sculpt and the addition of an ambulance light bar. His yellow license plate reads H3LPU2, a reference to the cover of the U.S. Marvel Comics Transformers number 70. Heinke C14 Deluxe Ratchet, the Japanese version of the Universe Deluxe figure by Takara Tomy, has the front grille, headlights, taillights and gun molded in chrome silver. In addition, the head antenna is painted black instead of red, the license plate is omitted and the ambulance mode side panels have one red stripe instead of two. Transformers KREO Autobot Ratchet, a Lego-like building block kit of Ratchet with 187 pieces to assemble in either ambulance or robot mode. The overall design is a hybrid of Ratchet's incarnations from the G1 series and the live-action movie trilogy. Comes with 2-inch Cron figures of G1 Ratchet and a human paramedic. Transformers, Robots in Disguise. Transformers, Armada. Ratchet was the Japanese name for the character of Red Alert. This character was an obvious homage to Ratchet, being an Autobot medic who turned into an ambulance and had a tool hand, just like Generation 1 Ratchet was sometimes depicted with. Transformers Universe. Ratchet is the name of a Transformers Universe character. He appeared in the Universe comic book, where it was established he was Ratchet from a parallel Cybertron brought to this world when captured by Unicron, but he escaped. 3 Hours Enterprises. This version of Ratchet appeared in the Transformers Universe comic where it was established that he was Ratchet from a parallel Cybertron. In speaking with the Autobot Trailbreaker, it is established that in the main universe reality Ratchet was dead. Toys Universe Autobot Ratchet. Ratchet is a repaint of Robots in Disguise X-Brawn. According to sources at BotCon Universe, Ratchet was originally intended to be an upgrade of the Autobot Inferno, but when the Red Alert toy was accidentally named Inferno in a packaging error, they changed this toy to Autobot Ratchet. Live-action film series. In the 2007 live-action film, Ratchet appears as a search and rescue Nurse Ratched. As always, Ratchet is the medical officer of the Autobots. According to the official movie site, Ratchet believes the conflict can be solved peacefully, without any violence. However, he still carries out Optimus Prime's orders, even if it means use of force. His weapons include a rotary saw that emerges from his left arm, and can transform his right and left arm into a machine gun. Ratchet also has an assortment of other tools at his disposal. In the movie, he uses a red laser to scan and try to calibrate Bumblebee's voice box as they are introduced to Sam Witwicky and Michaela Baines. He has an enhanced sense of smell. According to the book Transformers, Meet the Autobots by Jennifer France, Ratchet has X-ray vision. According to the Transformers UK magazine, Ratchet can produce a chameleon effect with his surface photoelectric cells, allowing him to blend with his environment. The official guide to the Transformers video game says he's 20 feet tall. The Transformers UK magazine states he is 20 feet 1 inch tall, weighs 6.7 tons and has a maximum speed of 230 mph. It also states he can haul push 20 times his own weight, which is 134 tons. The vehicles used for Bumblebee, Ironhide, Jazz, and Ratchet were put on display by GM at the 2007 Detroit Riverwalk Festival a little over a week before the US release of the film. One early concept sketch of Ratchet shown by Hasbro at BotCon 2007 had him as a red ambulance with white and black detail. This concept was later used for the character of Inferno. In the sequel Transformers, Dark of the Moon, Ratchet's color scheme is revised, sporting yellow and white colors with E4 printed on his side panels. IDW Publishing. The backstory of the Transformers on ancient Cybertron is told in Transformers, Defiance. In this story, Starscream returns to Cybertron after encountering an enemy scout ship in the Eshems Nebula. After being repaired for minor damage by Ratchet, Starscream and Ironhide report to Optimus Prime and Megatron. Ratchet is among the Autobot forces who witness the launching of the Decepticon ship Nemesis. Ratchet appears in Transformers, Nefarious No. 1, set months after the events of the 2009 film. Alice steals an RV in Seattle and is chased by Skids and Mudflap, who keep her occupied until Sideswipe arrives and defeats her. She is taken to NEST headquarters on Diego Garcia to be examined by Ratchet. Sideswipe is disgusted by her decision to disguise herself as a human. Ratchet tells Optimus Prime that the Autobots rescued from the initiative will recover. Titan Magazine's note: events occurring in the alternate universe where Megatron won the Battle of Mission City are in italics. A character bio on Ratchet also revealed more of his pre-war days. Apparently a politician with a flair for cutting through bureaucracy, Ratchet was appointed as go-between for Optimus Prime and the High Council of Ancients. When war broke out, Ratchet tried to act as a peacemaker, but was nearly killed by Megatron for it. Rebuilt, Ratchet served as a medical officer for the Autobots. In Twilight's Last Screaming Part 3, Ironhide and Ratchet sneak into the Decepticon Allspark Power Distribution Hub in Savannah, Georgia, disguised as payload-style drones. Although they believe the stolen code they used got them inside safely, Once there they are ambushed by Bone Crusher, who says that the code didn't work and he let them in so he could fight them. In Part 4, Ratchet and Ironhide continued fighting Bone Crusher in Savannah, but didn't stand much of a chance until they were joined by Arcee, Armoride and Longum, arriving from the moon. Books. Ratchet appeared in the prequel novel Transformers, Ghosts of Yesterday, where his personality was similar to that of G1 Ratchet. He was part of Prime's Autobot team searching for the Allspark, and was left on board the Ark to cover the Autobots' rear in the battle, stopping Bone Crusher from entering the hangar bay. He later saved Ironhide and Jazz by opening fire and distracting the Decepticons long enough for them to get aboard. He was unable to stop Scorponok from getting aboard and sabotaging the engines, although Ratchet furiously chased the insectoid Decepticon off. In the final battle, he and Bumblebee double-teamed Barricade, but were unable to stop Starscream from destroying the human ship Ghost 1. Ratchet appears as a character in the book Transformers, Dark of the Moon, the junior novel. Movie plot. Arriving on Earth at the same time as Optimus Prime, Jazz and Ironhide, Ratchet's protoform crash lands outside a local diner. Ratchet quickly scans a yellow emergency Hummer H2 and reconfigures his protoform to a new camouflaged form before meeting up with the other Autobots at Bumblebee's location. During the Autobots' introductions, Ratchet unintentionally embarrasses Sam in front of Mikaela, as he does not fully understand human social rules yet, commenting the boys from Unlevels suggest he wants to mate with the female. By using his enhanced senses, the Autobots then return to Sam's house and retrieve a pair of glasses owned by Sam's great-grandfather, Captain Archibald Witwicky, whilst attempting to hide from Sam's parents, which results in his mother's and father's prized gardens being destroyed by Prime's massive feet. Ratchet also accidentally gets entangled in power lines, sending him spasming to the ground and causing a blackout in the neighborhood. Sam finds the glasses, but before he can hand them over to the Autobots, agents of a secret government organization called Sector 7, suddenly arrive at his home and arrest Sam and Mikaela, and later capture Bumblebee. Ratchet also appears to be a very wise Autobot in the film. After Bumblebee's capture, when the Autobots are discussing the location of the Allspark and their war with the Decepticons for acquiring it first, Optimus states that he intends to unite the cube with his spark. Ratchet warns him that the cube's raw power would destroy them both. Moreover, he also notes that he senses the Decepticons are getting ready to mobilize. Ratchet plays a large role in the final battle, where he, Jazz and Ironhide first battle Brawl, then assists Ironhide in providing cover for Sam against Blackout and Brawl as the latter tries to escape with the Allspark. Ratchet and Ironhide also engage in a brief firefight with Starscream, who disables both of the Autobots, leaving Sam to reach his destination building alone. Ratchet's injuries at the hands of Starscream keep him from getting to Jazz in time before the small Autobot is torn in half by Megatron. Ratchet survives the battle and is seen along with Ironhide, Bumblebee, and Optimus Prime watching the sunset at the end of the film. In Jazz's toy bio, it states that Ratchet revived Jazz with a fragment of the Allspark. Ratchet appears in the sequel, however he was less seen in the film. Ratchet first appears for a brief moment when the Autobots go back to the NEST headquarters. He arrives with the other Autobot reinforcements after Optimus's death, and is later seen with the other Autobots when they are placed under arrest. He expresses a need to leave Earth, which Ironhide objects to on behalf of Optimus. He is then seen in the battle at Egypt fighting with the soldiers against the Decepticons and, with the help of Jolt, he repairs Optimus with Jetfire's body. Ratchet has a larger role in Transformers, Dark of the Moon. He is first seen accompanying Optimus Prime when they arrive in Chernobyl. He is present in the meeting at the NEST base when Optimus decides to go to the moon. Optimus and Ratchet wind up on the moon and retrieve Sentinel Prime's body and his pillars from the Ark and bring them back to Earth. He is present when Optimus revives Sentinel with the Matrix of Leadership. Ratchet is also seen leaving with the rest of the Autobots on the Xantium and is present when Optimus and the rest of the Autobots return. Ratchet provides cover fire for the humans alongside Mirage, Sideswipe, and Bumblebee during the final battle. He also battles Sentinel Prime alongside Optimus Prime, Bumblebee and Sideswipe and is at one point seen shooting down a Decepticon that is on top of a building. When Sam calls for help after he kills Dylan Gould, Ratchet responds and shoots the control pillar several times before Bumblebee crashes through and destroys it. Ratchet is one of the surviving Autobots at the end of the movie, complimenting Bumblebee's unregistered trademark's bravery in battle. Ratchet appears in Transformers: Age of Extinction. 5 years after the battle in Chicago, the human governments have become fearful of all Transformers and begun hunting all of them down, forcing all of the Autobots to disband and go into hiding, Ratchet included. Ratchet is soon found by human soldiers and is badly injured. Ratchet tries to plead for his life with James Savoy, leader of the soldiers, but because he lost a relative in Chicago he refuses. Moments later, the Cybertronian mercenary Lockdown, working with the humans, questions Ratchet for Optimus Prime's location, but Ratchet refuses to give in, resulting in Lockdown impaling and tearing out Ratchet's spark, killing the Autobot. His body is then disassembled and taken to the KSI research labs for use in the production of man-made Transformers. While infiltrating the facility, Cade Yeager becomes appalled when he discovers Ratchet's head being melted for raw materials. Ratchet's death deeply affects Optimus, who tries to kill the humans responsible. Ratchet is avenged when Optimus destroys Lockdown at the film's climax. Cyber missions: Ratchet is shown to be fighting his enemy, Lockdown. Video games: Ratchet was not among the playable characters in the 2007 console Transformers game, but was playable in the Nintendo DS versions. He made a fully playable appearance in the Revenge of the Fallen video game by Activision. However, in the Nintendo DS version of the game, Ratchet guides the player through training, and never appears in the game itself, other than talking to the other characters. Ratchet is among the characters who appear in the Transformers Verse Battle Builder game. Transformers: The Veiled Threat: Ratchet appeared in the second film's prequel novel Transformers: The Veiled Threat. He was present when Somalian pirates attempted to take the freighter ship he and Ironhide were traveling on, the latter of the two scaring off the pirates by transforming. He later battled the Decepticon Dropkick at the Zambezi River in Africa, and soon saved a dam from falling by raising his external body heat high enough to repair the cracks in the dam. Sometime later, he ventured to Italy and fought Dead End and Swindle, and soon took on Starscream, who as always, fled the scene soon afterward. Toys: all toys of this character are officially licensed from General Motors. Transformers Legends Autobot Ratchet, released as part of the first wave of Movie Legends toys, this 3-inch-long Hummer H2 is 1/68 scale to the real vehicle. On this toy and all others in the movie line he is called Autobot Ratchet or given some other modifier on the package for trademark purposes. Transformers Legends Rescue Ratchet, a redeco of Legends Autobot Ratchet. Sold in a 2-pack with Legends Class Decepticon Brawl. Transformers Cyber Slammers Autobot Ratchet, a Scout-class toy designed for younger children, with a very simple transformation and a pullback motor. The upper portion of the vehicle pops up into robot mode when it hits an object. Transformers Fast Action Battlers Axe Attack Autobot Ratchet, a 5-inch tall, lime green version of Movie Legends Autobot Ratchet. This toy is 14 cm long in vehicle mode, while a real Hummer H2 is 482 cm long. This makes the toy about 1/34 scale. Transformers Voyager Autobot Ratchet, a highly detailed Voyager-class toy featuring automorph technology. Ratchet is equipped with a foldable battle axe on his right forearm which when folded resembles his gun and a detachable roof rack that doubles as a combat stretcher. This toy is 17.5 cm long in truck mode, while a real Hummer H2 is 517 cm long. This makes Voyager-class Ratchet about 1/30th scale. With the toy's robot mode standing 19 cm tall, the real robot would stand about 19 feet tall. Transformers Voyager Rescue Ratchet, a redeco of the Voyager toy in white with red detail. The concept artwork for Ratchet during pre-production had him dressed in white and red in homage to his G1 origins. However, the neon green coloring was chosen instead for the film. Transformers Voyager Metallic Autobot Ratchet, a Best Buy exclusive metallic repaint of the Voyager figure, released simultaneously with the DVD HD/DVD versions of the film. Transformers 3D battle card game Autobot Ratchet among the characters which appeared in the first wave of the Transformers 3D battle card game by Wizards of the Coast. Revenge of the Fallen Legends Autobot Ratchet, a redeco of the toy from the last film. Revenge of the Fallen Fast Action Battlers Autobot Ratchet, a redeco of the toy from the last film. Pictures of the card first leaked on the internet in February 2009. Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Autobot Ratchet, a deluxe version of the Ratchet figure that transforms into the SUT version of his vehicle mode. Revenge of the Fallen Voyager Desert Tracker Ratchet, a re-release of the 2007 Voyager class figure, but with all black parts remolded in grey and some panels painted with sand weathering. Revenge of the Fallen Titanium 3-inch Rescue Ratchet vs. Blackout, a Toys R Us store exclusive gift set featuring redecos of the Ratchet and Blackout figurines. Transformers Voyager Night Ops Ratchet, a black-green redeco of the 2007 Voyager class figure. Transformers Deluxe Rescue Ratchet, a white-red redeco of the 2009 Deluxe class figure made to resemble his G1 incarnation. Dark of the Moon Burger King Flip-Out Autobot Ratchet, a BK Kids meal toy available at Burger King restaurants in the US. The toy consists of a detailed head that opens to reveal a small robot body, giving the overall figure a bobblehead look. It also has parts that glow in the dark. Dark of the Moon Cyberverse Legion Autobot Ratchet, an all-new Legion mold of Ratchet. Dark of the Moon Cyberverse Legion Autobot Ratchet Lunar Crawler, a white-blue redeco of Ratchet, bundled with a lunar crawler that transforms into a repair bay. Dark of the Moon Cyberverse Battle in the Moonlight Legion Autobot Ratchet, a Walmart-exclusive gift set featuring a reverse white-green redeco of Ratchet, plus Commander-class Optimus Prime with trailer and Legion-class crankcase. Dark of the Moon Deluxe Autobot Ratchet, an all-new deluxe mold of Ratchet. His mech-tech weapon is a blaster with a retractable buzzsaw. Dark of the Moon Deluxe Specialist Ratchet, a red redeco of the 2011 Deluxe figure in a reverse G1 color. Makes a reference to his first concept art. Dark of the Moon Movie Trilogy Ratchet, a white redeco of the 2011 Deluxe figure in the G1 Diaclone colors. Only in Japan with a white wheeljack, black sound wave and small stripes Bumblebee. Dark of the Moon The Scan Series Deluxe Ratchet, a Toys R Us exclusive remold of the Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe figure with light blue highlights in the middle before fading into clear plastic, simulating the effect of vehicle scanning. Dark of the Moon Voyager Autobot Ratchet, a Target exclusive green-white redeco of the 2007 Voyager class figure. Transformers Animated, Ratchet appears in the Transformers Animated series. Ratchet has retractable magnets in his arms which can attract or repel metal, as well as projecting a protective wall of magnetic force. The magnets can also function as rudimentary pincer claws. As of Episode 7, Thrill of the Hunt, Ratchet has an EMP generator that can overload a Transformer's systems to enable him to patch them up without causing them pain, which he doesn't bring into battle until transwarped. His personality appears more based on G1's Cup than the original Ratchet. He is the oldest of the main Autobot cast of the series and the only one who actually fought against Decepticons in the Great War. It should also be noted that he along with his toy have the same transformation and accuracy that of the G1 Trailbreaker. Animated series, as revealed in Thrill of the Hunt, Ratchet was assigned by Ultra Magnus to rescue an intelligence officer, Arcee, and retrieve access codes vital to the war effort, when he ran into a Decepticon bounty hunter, Lockdown. Lockdown captured both of them, and took Ratchet's EMP generator as a trophy. Arcee requested that Ratchet use the generator at full blast to wipe her memory, erasing the access codes in the process. Ratchet did so, but Lockdown's interference overloaded it, completely erasing Arcee's memory. Attempting to restore her memory, Ratchet accidentally uploaded the access codes Arcee was carrying. When Highbrow notices this, he has Ultra Magnus bring Ratchet before the inactive Omega Supreme, with Ratchet taking Arcee's place in teaching Omega prior to being introduced to battle. But in the aftermath of war, with Arcee still in stasis and Omega's near death in the final fight, Ratchet became the bitter war veteran that he is today. Many years later, Ratchet became the crew member of the Autobot ship that Omega's body was converted into prior to it crashing onto Earth. There, Ratchet eventually ran into lockdown again, having him painfully remember the incident which caused Arcee to lose her memory. During the events that transpired, Ratchet retrieved his EMP generator from lockdown while saving Optimus Prime from him, giving him some closure. However, when Blitzwing and Lugnut came to Earth, Ratchet admitted to Sari, who was against the Autobots leaving the planets in hopes of getting the Deceptions to pursue them, that he had no intention to see someone else suffer because of their war. After being ordered later by Prime to take away Sari's key, Ratchet heads to the ship and protect the Allspark, but before he could get there, he was ambushed by Blitzwing and Lugnut, the former freezing him before ripping off most of Ratchet's right arm to get the key. After freeing himself, Ratchet reports to Optimus, who tells him to enter the ship and protect the Allspark anyway. After making the ship airborne again, Ratchet managed to save Sari from Black Arachnia and then the rest of his team and Esok Sumdick, teaming up with Bumblebee and Prowl to fight Blitzwing. In Garbage In, Garbage Out, Ratchet encountered the newly created Transformer, Wreck-Gar. Initially rebuffing the scatter-brained machine, when it became clear that the trash-eating nanobots he was carrying would destroy the entire city, Ratchet was forced to do that which, in his own words, requires more courage than anything I've ever done in my entire Autobot career. Apologizing. Ratchet convinced Wreck-Gar that he could be anything he wanted, even a hero, and the Junkbot removed the nanobots, only to sink into the river. In the A Bridge Too Close to Pata, Ratchet, with Sari's help, managed to bring Omega Supreme back to life, only to be saddened to see his friend once again sacrifice himself to save everyone. During Transwarped, Ratchet plays a large role in the story, and is infuriated when the other Autobots choose Sari's key over him when it comes to fixing things. But after saving Bumblebee after getting severely damaged by an out-of-control Sari, Ratchet attempts to talk to Omega in regaining control over himself from Starscream. In Human Era, Ratchet, along with the Autobots, are trapped in a virtual world by Soundwave. There, the Autobots take human forms. Ratchet is portrayed as a medium-built Caucasian with grey hair in his 60s. In This Is Why I Hate Machines, Ratchet and Captain Fans 1 arrive on Cybertron through Bulkhead Space Bridge, just as Omega Supreme transwarps to there as well. Ratchet then fruitlessly attempts to stop Sentinel Prime from firing on his old friend, and flees the scene with Fans 1. With help from Jazz, the duo find the lair of Shockwave, who was in hiding all this time. After a duel, in which Shockwave reveals his intentions to get Omega's access codes from Arcee herself, Ratchet retells his tale to Fans 1, and battles Shockwave once more, only for Sentinel to interfere again. Shockwave escapes with Arcee, and Ratchet and Fans 1 return to Earth with Ultra Magnus's hammer and Jazz, who wished no further part in Sentinel's government. Despite Perceptor assuring Ratchet that Shockwave can't get Arcee's codes, as the damage is beyond repair, on board Omega, who transwarped to the moon, Arcee says Ratchet's name, implying she may indeed remember after all. In the series finale, he helped facilitate Optimus's jetpack upgrade, and later ventured to the moon with Bulkhead, Bumblebee, and Sari. There, he and Sari returned Arcee's memories, with Arcee helping them regain control of Omega Supreme. After the battle, they all returned to Cybertron with the captured Megatron, Omega, and Prowl's body, greeted as heroes one and all. IDW Publishing, set shortly after the events of Total Meltdown, was the Transformers animated comic issue number 2 by IDW Publishing. In it, Bumblebee and Prowl apprehended the angry Archer as the villain attempted to steal money from a used car salesman. In doing so, they revealed the holographic trickery of the Detroit superhero known as the Wraith. With the secret of his power revealed, the Wraith lost much of the respect he used to command in Detroit. The Wraith attempted to stop Cyrus the Colossus Rhodes from escaping prison, but was unable to fool the villain now that the secret was public, forcing the Autobots to stop the Rhodes and making the Wraith look foolish. The Wraith then attempted to discredit Bumblebee at a college football game by trapping the Autobot with the car boot and using his holograms to make a fake Bumblebee attack the stadium. Bumblebee eventually escaped and the other Autobots helped him capture the Wraith and he was placed in a mental institution. Toys: animated McDonald's Autobot Ratchet, given away as a premium with Happy Meals. Animated Activators Ratchet, a simple Scout class version of the character with near-instant transformation at the push of a button. Also bundled as a Target store exclusive with Voyager class Sunstorm. Sold in Japan as part of the Super Collection Volume 1 gift set alongside Activators Optimus Prime, Megatron and Lockdown. Animated Battle Bumpers Ratchet, a simple push-and-go toy for small children with lights and sounds. Transforms when it hits an object. Animated Deluxe Autobot Ratchet, a simple deluxe class version of Ratchet. The figure is based on Ratchet's in-show design, with beer gut and broken crest, and also has a socket for the EMP generator which comes with Lockdown. A figure also has a sort of spring-loaded sickle on its wrists, which when stored can be used to attach the 4 medic tools, which come with the toy. When not in use, the tools can be stored in the toy's backpack, but only in robot mode. An exclusive fan-made accessory pack offered online includes Ratchet's show-accurate magnet claws. Animated Deluxe Rescue Ratchet, a Target store exclusive, contains a yellow redeco of Deluxe Ratchet packaged together with Legends class Prowl and Starscream. Animated Deluxe Cybertron Mode Autobot Ratchet, this deluxe-sized figure is based on Ratchet's Cybertronian mode, released as a Toys R Us store exclusive. The mold for this figure is also used for animated Ironhide and the BotCon 2011 exclusive Autotrooper and Physitron. Animated TA-04 Deluxe Ratchet, the 2010 Japan release version by Takara Tomy, sports a metallic red finish and a red Autobot emblem, as opposed to the matte finish and silver Autobot emblem on the Hasbro version. Also bundled with TA-08 Deluxe Lockdown. Animated TA-40 Deluxe Cybertron Mode Ratchet, the Japanese version of this figure features a metallic repaint. Transformers, Timelines, this Ratchet is an evil mirror universe version of his Generation 1 self. He likes to give his patients unnecessary weapon modification, whether they want it or not. Fun Publications, an evil version of Ratchet first appeared in the Fun Publications fiction Dungeons and Dinobots. He is placed in charge of reformatting Wheeljack into an Earth vehicle mode, then later repairs Rodimus' hand. Although not depicted directly, Ratchet is one of the many Autobots aboard the Ark in Do-Over. The Ark launches from Cybertron for Earth under the command of Rodimus and is followed by the Decepticon ship Nemesis, under the command of Starscream. While battling over Earth, it is shot down by human defense systems. Ratchet is among the Autobots on Earth and Blitzwing Bop. Toys: although no toy has been made for this Ratchet, his body style appears to be modeled after an Ergon roadblock, but with a new head mold and seafoam green in color. Transformers, Prime. Ratchet is one of the main group of Autobots in the 2010 computer-animated series Transformers, Prime. His robotic appearance and attitude is similar to his Transformers animated character. This emergency medical truck is the Autobots' medic. Ratchet fixes limbs and gears, and he works to make do with less and less Energon. He knows Optimus Prime best, but he doesn't want the Autobots risking their necks to protect humans, or bringing them into the secret base. Deep down, though, Ratchet admires what the humans bring to the fight. One of the few Autobots longing to return to Cybertron, Ratchet devised a version of the space bridge he dubbed the Ground Bridge, allowing him and the other Autobots to go anywhere around the world where a Decepticon is sighted. Out of the other Autobots, Ratchet appears to be the less thrilled about the 3 young humans. A running gag is him yelling "I needed that," because most of his needed items get broken, mostly by Bulkhead. Books: Ratchet appears in the novel Transformers, Exodus, and its sequel Transformers, Exiles. Ratchet appears in the short story Bumblebee at Tiger Pax by Alex Irvine. Video games: Ratchet appears as a playable Autobot character in the 2010 video game Transformers, War for Cybertron. In the Autobot campaign, Ratchet is among the first Autobots to team up with Optimus, following the fall of Zeta Prime. Later, he is assigned to repair the liberated Omega Supreme. Ironhide and Ratchet appear in Transformers, War for Cybertron, Autobots for the Nintendo DS. They are unlocked as player characters upon completing the Retaking Iacon mission. Animated series, Ratchet was a regularly appearing character in the Transformer Prime animated series. In the Darkness Rising opening 5-parter, when one of his broken tools is animated into a primal transformer, he and Optimus decide that Megatron has brought Dark Energon to Earth in order to conquer the planet with an army of the undead Cybrotanians. He and Optimus go to an ancient battlefield on Earth, where Megatron mockingly refers to Ratchet as Optimus' trusty watchdog, believing the old medic should have been dead a long time ago. Ratchet battles a small army of undead Cybertronians with Optimus, breaking his arm in the process as a result. As the season goes on, Ratchet more often plays a tech support sort of role, minding the base and the ground bridge. Despite his earlier verbal hostility towards the humans, Ratchet clearly grows to care for the 3 children, as evidenced in Scrap Heap, Convoy, and Out of His Head. Ratchet often takes the role of leadership when Optimus isn't around, and appears to be Optimus' best friend and second in command, declaring that he's known Optimus longer than the other members of Team Prime. By One Shall Fall, he proves he has grown to fully care for the children as members of their team. When he is in despair, he is unable to treat the Dark Energon-infected Raph, furious that the Autobots have adopted the children into their lives, yet he knows so little of their science or medicine. Stating he has grown to need Raph. Ratchet angrily protests against not only taking the ground bridge to the Earth's core where Unicron resides, but also allying with Megatron. Nevertheless, he obtains the necessary coordinates from Megatron, and sends Optimus, Bumblebee, Arcee, Bulkhead, and Megatron to the Earth's core, while he remains behind with Team Prime's human allies. Ratchet grimly realizes that Optimus gave the key to Vector Sigma to Jack because he does not believe he will survive the encounter. In the second season 3-part premiere Orion Pax, Ratchet decides that Optimus surrendered not only the wisdom of the Primes when he defeated Unicron, but also his own memories, reverting to his Orion Pax persona. Ratchet informs the others of Optimus' contingency plan: download the wisdom of the Primes to the key to Vector Sigma from Vector Sigma itself, a task that falls to Jack as Optimus entrusted him with the relic. Ratchet takes leadership of the Autobots, and thanks to a tip from Starscream, the Autobots take and hold the Decepticons' space bridge, and fend off Megatron long enough for Jack to return with a restored matrix of leadership, and restore Orion Pax back to being Optimus Prime. In the Operation Bumblebee 2-parter, Ratchet reveals to Raph that he was the field medic who saved Bumblebee's life following the Scout's interrogation from Megatron, but clearly deeply regrets not being able to repair Bumblebee's voice box. In the second of 2 episodes, Out of Guilt, Ratchet decides to give his own T-Cog to Bumblebee as he had no personal use for his, and to make up for not fixing Bumblebee's voice box. He chooses Arcee to perform the operation, but it is put on hold while Ratchet is in stasis, and the Autobots search for the next Iacon relic. Bumblebee also goes on a mission to attack MECH's headquarters for his T-Cog, which is destroyed by Starscream. Ratchet repairs Bumblebee's T-Cog as he would not accept the transplant, and to his surprise, the T-Cog works, leaving Ratchet with newfound confidence in himself. During the search for Iacon relics, Ratchet is sent with Wheeljack to search for the Resonance Blaster. Ratchet is irritated at Wheeljack's uncouth nature and lack of respect. When Wheeljack is able to shoot Laserbeak down, Ratchet decides to take advantage of the situation and plant a virus in Laserbeak, which will allow them to download the Iacon database from the Nemesis. Ratchet succeeds in the endeavor, and gains Wheeljack's respect, but his joy is cut short when Bulkhead returns mortally wounded from his mission. Ratchet is able to save Bulkhead's life, but is disgusted to learn that Wheeljack took Myko along to kill Hardshell, ruining the mutual respect they had forged. Ratchet later makes it clear he considers Wheeljack a rogue after endangering Myko in the revenge stunt. Ratchet supervises Bulkhead's recovery and is later elated to learn of the Autobots' potential restoration of Cybertron. However, Optimus is forced to destroy the Omega Lock and any hope of restoring their home with it. Ratchet has an emotional breakdown, lamenting the sheer amount of losses and sacrifices they've had. The base comes under attack by Megatron, and after evacuating the team, Ratchet sets out on his own while Optimus remains behind, believing Optimus to be sacrificing himself to save the team. Ratchet is initially despondent over the loss of the base, Cybertron, and Optimus, but soon rallies around Raph and Bumblebee, as they use the Harbinger as a temporary base. They are soon met by Ultra Magnus, the other Autobots, and their human allies. Ratchet coordinates Ultra Magnus' assault on Dark Mount, and is elated to learn of Optimus' return. The Autobots are successful in destroying Dark Mount and are given a new base by Agent Fowler. Ratchet assures Smokescreen that he made the right choice in depleting the Forge of Solus Prime's power to restore Optimus to life. With their energon supplies at a critical low after the loss of their old base, Ratchet works to recreate synthetic energon with little success. Ratchet is kidnapped by Soundwave and brought to Megatron, who asks for his aid in recreating synthetic energon. Though Ratchet is vehemently against aiding the leader of the Decepticons, he is eventually convinced when Megatron is successful in taking advantage of his love of Cybertron, and agrees to help the Decepticons. Ratchet works with Knockout and Shockwave, but is informed of the Decepticons' scheme to massacre the Predacons by Knockout. Ratchet later attempts to sabotage the synthetic energon and escape the Nemesis, but is caught and thrown to Predaking. Ratchet is nearly killed before he reveals Megatron's treachery to Predaking, who spares him and goes after Megatron. Ratchet lets the other Autobots aboard the Nemesis and fights Shockwave over control of the new Omega Lock. Ratchet is fully prepared to die and sacrifice the Omega Lock to protect humanity, but Bumblebee kills Megatron, ensuring victory for the Autobots. Though Ratchet reveals there is no way to create more synthetic energon, the Autobots are successful in restoring Cybertron. While the other Autobots return to Cybertron, Ratchet remains behind on Earth, having grown to love the planet, deeming it where he is needed most. Ratchet is soon called back to Cybertron to repair Ultra Magnus, who was wounded in battle against two new Predacons, Darksteel and Skylynx. The Autobots learn of Unicron's return in Megatron's corpse, and in the absence of both Optimus and Ultra Magnus, Ratchet encourages Bumblebee to take leadership of the team. Bumblebee requests Ratchet to stay out of the final battle against Unicron. Despite his anguished protests, Ratchet later witnesses Optimus sacrifice himself to restore the Allspark to Cybertron. Toys, Prime Robots in Disguise reveal as Deluxe-class Autobot Ratchet, a new deluxe mold of Ratchet. Comes with two blades that can be mounted on his front bumper in ambulance mode. Prime Cyberverse Legion Autobot Ratchet, a new Legion mold of Ratchet. Prime, Beast Hunters Deluxe-class Autobot Ratchet with Dragon Grinder Drill, Transformers, Rescue Bots. Ratchet was referenced in the Transformers, Rescue Bots episode Bumblebee to the Rescue. He was known by the Rescue Bots as the doctor and scientist of the Autobots. When three of the Rescue Bots were stricken down with a mysterious virus, Optimus consulted Ratchet, who suggested that one of the antidotes from the Rescue Bots ship would cure it. He was mentioned in the episode Bumblebee to the Rescue. References: Furman, Simon. Transformers, The Ultimate Guide. DK Publishing Incorporated PA 22. ISBN A1-4053-0461-8A. External links: Ratchet Papercraft Build Your Own Ratchet, Toybin G1 Toy Ratchet Gallery, G1 Ratchet at the Transformers Wiki, TFU Ratchet at the Transformers Wiki, Animated Ratchet at the Transformers Wiki, Ratchet Toy Galleries, Transformers Animated Ratchet Profile at transformersanimated.com, Ratchet Galleries at sabertron.com.